Discover the best in local business news with a subscription to the IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. For a limited time, try us out for just $1 a week for 8 weeks. Claim this limited time offer now at ibj.com/trial offer.
Kristen, Dane. This episode of the Pete the Planner Show is brought to you by Indiana529.com. As a parent, I've come to accept a few things. One, I will never understand the appeal of TikTok. Okay, that's number one. Number two, groceries now cost what a used Honda Pilot used to cost. Three, college is somehow getting more expensive faster than both of these things combined, which is why I want to talk to you about something that I like to call what they call Indiana529.com. It is where I save for my children's college education. I've been doing so for now 17 years. I look at my balances and I am tickled, and in most cases, tickled is a good thing. It is a tax advantage way to save for a college education. But here's the part I really like, because it's tax season, y'all. If you're in Indiana and you get a 20%, you can get a 20% state tax credit for your contributions up to $1,500 American dollars. It's not a deduction, it's a credit. There's a difference. We've talked about that on the show. And listen, I know what some of you are thinking. Pete, my kid is 3. I've got time. Well, here's the thing. Your kid can't read. It's 3. You need to start planning for college. Like Kristen's got a baby. That baby doesn't even have a job yet. So you need to start contributing to your Indiana 529 plan today. Sure, you thought your kid would always go to bed at 7:30, but the reality is they won't. And at someday they'll be sleeping somewhere else called college, and you got to pay for it. Indiana529.com. I'm not sure they're going to like that live read.
Which part? The bedtime part?
I think the inference that tickling is mostly good.
Yeah.
Kristen, picture this.
Okay.
I'm in one of the great, David just notes, I made my last tuition payment for my oldest with my college 529 plan.
It's wonderful.
That's great. I can't even imagine that. Hi, Chris. Hello, Jen, Andy, David. Picture this. I'm in the quaintest town in America yesterday, Holland, Michigan. Kristen, have you been?
I've not been, and I love tulips, so it's devastating to me.
Okay, tulips aside, it's a phenomenal town.
Okay.
Phenomenal. Here's what you need to know. One, my mom is texting me right now while I'm on the air. Oh. So do I look at it? Do I not? Number two, it's beautiful. It's clean. The main street is like awesome and great restaurants, amazing shops that I want to eat. You know, sometimes Main Street's got a bunch of shops, but they stink. I mean, I don't mean like from an olfactory sense. I just mean like I wouldn't buy anything in there.
Yeah, that's fair.
So these are some bougie shops, which I like, right? So they're good shops. Anyway, so I'm there. I'm speaking to the local Sherm group at this great place. And so before me, the nonprofit being featured at this meeting, about 100 people there or so, was the local Humane Society, right? Oh. It was called something else. I don't know what it's called. Sure. I mean, I should know. This lady did a very nice presentation about like what they do and all of this, and she's got slides.
Okay.
So I'm reading the slides, and they're talking about what they do, and there was a phrase on the slide that has captured my attention.
Oh boy!
And I couldn't contain myself. Like I couldn't even, during my presentation, I couldn't think, Kristen.
You were that messed up about it?
Yeah, I'm still messed up about it. And I want to share this, and you will understand this term.
Okay.
Because of what your special friend does for a living. I believe you'll understand this.
Maybe not. I know nothing.
Okay. So the term on the slide was kitten husbandry.
Okay.
And so I'm going kitten husbandry, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't know what that means, but what I think it means is much darker than what someone would put on a slide.
What What does it?
Let's not talk about what I think it means, but I can tell you what it does mean.
Okay.
It's a fancy way of saying how to properly care for and raise kittens.
What?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's called kitten husbandry. It's not that unusual in like sort of animal health, sort of the industry of like humane societies things. It's called husbandry.
Interesting. I feel like I should text my best friend's a vet. I feel like I should text her and be like, do you know what this means?
Okay, well, you probably should. Here are the elements of husbandry.
Oh.
And now I'm thinking, do I also, as a husband, are these the things I'm expected to provide to my family? That's where this took an awful turn.
You were worried about whether you were providing things for your family that a humane society expects people to provide for a cat?
Time out.
We got breaking news in the chat here. We have a YouTube commenter. So good to be with you. I've been retired for 2 weeks.
Hey.
Congratulations. That's exciting. A mama, 22, BG 76.
Time out.
I don't know what any of those words mean, but I'll say this. Congrats on the retirement. All right, so here are the elements of husbandry. Hello, Rick. Nutrition. Okay, feeding age-appropriate milk to kittens is one element of husbandry. Okay. Housing and environment, keeping them warm, clean, and safe.
Okay.
Number 3 is healthcare, including deworming, which I do a poor job of with my family. Right? I was going through this. I'm like, okay, well, nutrition. Yeah, we buy their groceries. Housing. Yes. Yeah, we got a little bit of a leak in our roof, but yeah, we do pretty good job with shelter. Healthcare, no deworming in our house.
Ooh.
No ivermectin. Number 4, socialization. Yeah, we do okay there. You know, you got to get a kitten comfortable with humans, so I'm told.
Yeah.
And number 5, development tracking. So watching for milestones, eyes opening, walking, and weaning. We've been through the weaning. So anyway, that's husbandry for you. I didn't know. And the phrase kitten husbandry is like the world's greatest garage band name that no one's ever chosen.
Yeah, I did not know that was a term that I should probably know as someone who lives in the middle of nowhere.
Can you make me a promise? Just like, first of all, I'm going to ask that you make me a promise, but I'm going to ask you to promise the promise before I tell you what the promise is. Can you make me that promise?
All right.
Today, tomorrow, and Sunday, in the midst of conversations with your kin, can you please bring up kitten husbandry?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you want me to be really serious about it too?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Report back.
Okay.
Great show, Top. Oh, Dame's on vacation. Dame sent Chris and I. I don't even know how to go through this.
I don't know if you can.
Well, I think I can, but I feel like we should wait for him to get back because it's such a good story. Like, it could be the cold open to the show next week. It's so good.
Truly.
All right, Dame saw some stuff. So, and we have picks.
Don't set it up like that.
I don't want to jinx this, but I'm really excited for TSA that they're going to start hopefully getting paid soon if the House can agree with what the Senate did, and then if President Trump can sign that. Like, you know, you walk around societally with sometimes guilt for others. I feel so bad for those folks.
Mm-hmm. I feel bad for them on a regular basis.
You know that your Moneyline team is going to a food pantry. This is different than food panty.
Yeah.
And we're doing that this afternoon as a team. And I read an article just this week that more TSA workers are finding themselves in food lines.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, yeah. And I'm like, man, that stinks. So let's get those folks paid. And no, that's just not me getting upset about lines of TSA, because here's the thing. I'm a dad, y'all. I'm already there 4 hours early. It doesn't impact me.
He was there regardless.
My family has been ruthless since this TSA thing with me. They're sending me all sorts of memes like, oh, good. For now, from 4 hours to 14 hours, Dad. Great.
It really surprises me that you get there so early. I know you have this weird relationship with time, but I would have expected it to swing the other way, and that I'm not going to get there any sooner than I need to because I care about my time and my schedule.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's an interesting opinion. Jason says, I've been through TSA enough times that I don't feel too bad for them. I know that security theater isn't entirely their fault, but I still like to blame them. Yeah, I understand the tongue-in-cheek nature of that. Like, yeah. Anyway, I'm just glad. I'm glad when people are working and getting paid. How about that?
There it is.
We'll leave it at that. Kristen, we've talked about this on the show. We probably should get into the show here in a moment. Do you thank pilots when you exit the plane?
No. And I think the last time you asked us that was when there were there were like back-to-back aviation incidents.
Sure.
And I said not normally, but maybe I should start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Well, actually, that's not true. I think when I exit the plane, there's usually a couple flight attendants at the front and then a pilot. I feel like I do, actually.
Yeah, okay. Just check.
No clapping.
No, come on.
No clapping.
And when you get pulled over and you get a ticket, do you thank the police officer when they walk away?
No.
Okay, just making sure. I don't either, but sometimes I slip. But it's been a while. Knock on train whistle. Okay. It's the only real wood I have in this office. Let's do the show in 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us, Ask Pete at PeteThePlanner.com. That's Ask Pete at PeteThePlanner.com. And we're going to turn your question, your query, into an entire syndicated radio program, podcast, and video live stream. Joining me often and today is mother of Maggie, Kristen Elanius joins us. Hello, Kristen.
Hello, Pete.
Damian Dunn is on a beach.
So jealous.
You know, a bald man on a beach with as fair-skinned as he is, he's jealous of us.
That's true. That's probably so true. I've been indoors. Yeah.
I would not want to switch places with him with all the sand and chafing and whatnot. Let's move on. Hi, Pete and Kristen and Dame. My spouse and I recently...
Time out.
I am reading an email from an emailer.
Oh, thank you for the clarity.
I just kind of worked into it and realized that I didn't get there. Here we go. Hi, Pete and Kristen, and Dame. My spouse and I recently moved into a larger home, and after feeling pretty cramped in our old space for a long time, we are feeling a little bit better now. We have a growing family, and this move made sense for how we want to live day to day. Financially, we're in a solid position. The payment fits comfortably in our budget. We're still saving, and nothing about the move puts us in a risky spot. But even knowing all that, things just feel different. Not bad, just heavier in a way I didn't fully expect. There's a new level of awareness around our monthly expenses, and it feels like we're still adjusting to what this new normal looks like. Is this just part of stepping into a bigger financial commitment? Do most people go through this kind of adjustment period after upgrading their home? Is there anything we could have done or still do to settle into this new normal a little more comfortably? Thank you, Bobby. Kristen, I love this question because it really puts into words what a lot of people feel. When something good happens, on the other side of that good, the other side of that goal accomplishment is, yo, wow, okay, now we got to do this.
That's so real. And I admit out of the gate that I have so much bias toward this question. I love this question because I feel like I just lived this not many months ago, and to some degree still with like adding on daycare and things like that. But I think it's so real when you go through big life transitions to then have to learn how to adapt to what that looks like financially when the dust settles. So I'm glad that they wrote this in. I think it's applicable to a lot of different situations.
I think there's a lot of different ways to think about this. I think one direction I want to go is I just want to go with the math someone does before they pull the trigger on a big decision, right? So I don't know Bobby. Bobby lived somewhere before they moved into this place. So let's just assume that they lived in an apartment or a house, but something smaller that they could handle and they were able to handle over time. Kristen, that is what is called a habit. They got used to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say was there a question in that?
I don't know. I nodded.
I wasn't sure where you wanted me to pick that up.
Yeah, I nod punctuation now.
Oh, okay. No, I think that something you said there was like the math you do, or I can't remember exactly how you phrased that already. But I think the question actually, if we back up, is are people actually doing that?
Oh, well, okay. Well, I didn't. New question alert. I gotta find a sound for that. All right. So, Kristen, I believe when people are like, okay, we're in this house now, we need to go get a house because we're going to start a family or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I believe it starts with a dream, and then beyond that is math. I think math is. Are you saying people know math?
No.
What?
I don't think that people do the math, really. I think they might say something. Okay, I guess it depends on your definition. I think the way this goes, generally speaking, is, hey, we need more house.
Okay.
Hey, this is what we pay now.
Yeah.
The bank said we can afford this much.
It's math. Seems
good.
Yeah.
I think that's the beginning and the end. I don't think that's real math.
Okay. Well, I don't want to I would love to say how I think it should go. And then it probably stops short of that, right? So you start where you're going.
Okay.
Then you say, here's what I think we can afford. But where it usually breaks down is the person makes the payment difference, but then they don't account for all the utilities difference, the maintenance difference, the furnishment difference. And so even with that emergency fund, even if they have it in a good spot, it instantly takes thousands of dollars hit in the form of, we need plantation blinds. Do people still buy plantation blinds? And are they still called plantation blinds?
Probably not called that. And I don't know. I think millennials have curtains.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Sorry.
Wait, you're a millennial.
Right. I don't have blinds.
You're so annoying.
I'm sorry.
We have some curtains in lieu of 2-inch blinds, which are called plantation blinds. So, Kristen, I think part of this too is the aspirational nature of progress. It's like, okay, we figured out this house. It's a condo, whatever. It's a small thing. It's got a couple bedrooms. Now we need something with more bedrooms, with more square feet. We are doing it. And then you do some math, and then you get approved for the loan. You make it through the inspection and closing. You move in, you order pizza. Your college friends are there. They've gotten heavier. I don't know. I'm sorry. And then 30 to 45 days later, you're going, oh, no. Right?
Well, that's a really interesting point, because I also feel like part of the problem here is, depending on when you close, you don't have to make your first mortgage payment for like 2 months after the fact. So you have, the cost to move, we didn't bring everything from the fridge. So your first grocery trip is really high. You were talking about all these other incidentals. And then you have a month of that extra discretionary income, which, by the way, is even more than before, because the new payment's likely more. And then you have to make that first payment. I don't care for that.
And then if this is them right now, they are currently sweating mayonnaise. Like, they are so upset. So the next part is, then you've got a new drive to work that may cost you more. Then it happens.
Think of that.
Right.
I work from home.
Oh my God.
I forget these things. People have to commute.
Obnoxious. Yeah. So then you got that. Then I don't know if you've heard about situation in the Middle East with gas prices. I don't know if we've touched on that ever. I don't know. Not a lot of people know about it. And then you get new restaurants that are around you. You have to get pizza from a new pizza place. Mm-hmm. You want to try these places. You're probably at a new grocery store. So you're trying new different things. Everything is new. And all you thought you were changing was the address. but your entire life is different. Now I'm panicking and I'm not even in the situation.
We are so helpful. I bet they're so glad.
Yeah. I mean, we got Lamaze breathing going on now. Do they still call it Lamaze? I feel like all the words are changing.
I don't know. I didn't take any classes.
You didn't learn how to breathe?
No.
Yeah, I try to stay out of the judgment of those things.
That's probably a good
but we did go through that when I was a long time ago when I was in that situation. And I was really getting into the breathing. And my wife had to tell me to breathe quieter. Yeah. Because I was really distracting. She's like, you do realize it is not important for you to breathe. And I was like,
this isn't about you.
I was like, I do believe it's important for me to breathe. All right, let's do this. Let's take a little bit of a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about like, what is this a person supposed to do? Because there's no doubt anxiety is high and it's going to probably go in a little bit higher for the next 6 months or so. So how do you put together a plan after the big purchase to feel better soon? That's all next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Oh, we've calmed these people down.
We're so good.
See, Jeremiah, the boss hog of liberty, just said, Pete just convinced me to keep my house and my 2.75% note. Note? No. What are you, 94 years old, Jeremiah? Oh, I've got a bank note. Your note.
I think the average rate this morning was like 6.8%, Jeremiah. So
does anybody want to hear me complain about the economy? Like, I'm just like, no, just trying to no.
I think we all know, Peter.
Why'd you hit with the hard R?
I'm sorry. I just feel like you needed that. Like,
well, I mean, that's like not even right. Okay, listen to this. I don't know if I told you this. I don't think I did. I told some other people at the office. On Tuesday, I went to Hot Pilates. And yeah.
Oh, wait.
I always do.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm getting better. Like I can now get through a lot more of the exercises without the modifications and skipping them. So like things are going good.
Time out.
Yeah. Okay.
Time out.
What do you do in a Pilates class because like, as I understand it, there are just things that you can't do. So like, what do you do if you actually just like can't do the thing they're telling you to do?
Okay. So let's say planks, like body planks or whatever.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be forearms and toes, right? Elbows, forearms, toes. But if you can't do that, you can drop your knees.
Okay. Will they tell you that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm cranking. I'm actually feeling good. And the best part about this is there's a new dude in my class who sucks.
Oh, so you get to feel really good?
Oh, yeah. I was so thankful for him. And he was struggling, which I get it. I had just a few weeks ago. He was struggling. And so I'm feeling it. Like it's coming to the end of the class. I've sort of got the timing in my brain of like what's happening. And so I'm finishing strong. I'm leaving it on the mats. And Kristen at the end, what happens is they give you a cool towel that's spritzed in lavender oil, which calms you down. It's great. It's great.
Okay.
It's a 200 yards from Carmel, you know?
Right. That's a good point.
Just so the instructor, I would call her sensei. What do you call a Pilates instructor?
I don't think that's it. I fear that's more yoga.
There was a slow kick at one point, so it felt like it could be called the dojo.
Okay.
She lays the towel on my head and she goes, "That was amazing." And she's been my instructor the last 3 weeks. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm thinking, I can't wait to tell Chris about this. Tell my wife, I want everyone to be proud of me. And then she puts the towel on the guy who's terrible.
No.
And she goes, "That was amazing." And I was like, no, it wasn't. And if his was amazing, was mine amazing? Because mine felt amazing. His wasn't, objectively.
For him, maybe it was. He
wasn't
just as hard as you.
No, he wasn't.
Oh.
I mean, he might have been, but Kristen, it was about me.
Yeah, that's a good point. It does. Yep. Okay.
I went from cloud 9 of
and so quickly.
I felt like my life was together. I felt moderately desirable. And then three and a half seconds later, just bottom of the barrel.
Bummer. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I like a sincere compliment, but when it is made to be insincere, it hurts worse.
But you didn't know it was insincere. You only knew because you overheard the next compliment.
I'll just say this, that I came to learn that it was insincere.
Bummer.
Okay, let's do the show in 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show, the financial show most people go to for shows about finance. Today's topic is listener bought a new house, right? Big accomplishment, no doubt. No one's arguing that. Kristen Elenius joins me. No argument there. Big accomplishment.
Huge, wonderful. Love that for them.
Should feel good. Big moment. Scary moment. Kind of grow up moment. More expenses. So certainly a larger mortgage payment. And they emailed us sort of describing this malaise of like, I'm really nervous now. Natural feeling, Kristen, you've moved 600 times.
Yeah, that is.
Here's an interesting one for you. And I guess I'll start to share. And then if you care to share, you can as well. I've lived in 3 homes, each one more expensive than the last. And I'm curious if that has been your trend.
No, it was middle, lower cost, and then the highest cost of the 3 houses I've owned.
Okay. Middle, lower, up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, so these folks, I get the impression this is their second place. And so it's that first up. Talk to me a little bit about that. This isn't just limited to buying a home, but sometimes when people buy a car, this happens. Or sometimes when people take a lesser paying job because it's better for them and it works for them, or someone starts staying home to raise the kids, or you retire on the day you want to retire. Like, this is not an unusual feeling this person is feeling.
Not unusual at all, but it doesn't make it any less scary, because let's give this person the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that they did all the math, they've run the numbers, they say we can objectively afford this. Pete, there is just something different about having to part with those dollars in real life versus having to plan to part with them on your Excel spreadsheet or paper or wherever you've done this math.
I think we should do some role play. Kristen, you and I share a home.
Okay.
I feel like I need to conference in our HR team to do this, but you and I share a home. We are just roommates.
Okay.
Right? And in order to afford this home that we are about to move into, I should say, we need to justify the higher expense by saying things that you and I are willing to cut back on. Oh, no. And let's have this conversation, because this is what people do. Mm-hmm. They'll say, well, we spend $400 a month dining out, so we're going to have to cut back there. Are you good with that?
Oh, I'm good with that. And in fact, I think that if we bought in bulk, I think if we went to Sam's Club more and we meal prepped, I think we could cut that cost even further down. Okay.
So we are going to cut down from 400 to probably 200, but we're going to have to add in Sam's Club. Mm-hmm. So that's probably, I don't know, probably won't be much. And then, Kristen, now we are in real time here, in the sense that we're in the house, we're going to Sam's Club, and we're spending more than we were on carryout.
Yeah. And because we went to Sam's Club, and as a reward for braving Sam's Club, we picked up carryout on the way home.
You know what? This also occurs to me of when let's talk about what it feels to feel comfortable and like you're in the flow state. Like financially, things are going well. It's the flexibility and the ability to be nimble, which feels good.
Yeah.
Right.
But so impractical, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm thinking about my own situation, and like when I think about freedom of cash flow was at its peak right before I moved to this house, but like was wildly unrealistic. Like that's not how I expected to live my life. It was just the way circumstances were set up. And now I am arguably living a financial life that I would say is healthy, but because it's so different from what I was experiencing, it sometimes doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, because what's interesting is if you have a new expense that you're bringing in, oftentimes you'll say, "Oh, I'll reduce dining out." But what you're reducing is the flexibility, and the flexibility is what you value.
That's such a good point, and I feel like is so accurate. And I hadn't really considered that until you just said it. But I think in practice, that's what most people do is the scenario we just said where, hey, we're going to dine out less, we're going to meal prep more. It's like, well, we didn't do that, but somehow we're still making it work. How are we making it work? Oh, it's because we've lost that flexibility. And that's what's causing the worry, the anxiety, the fear around cash flow management.
Yeah, and I even think like yesterday when I was up in Holland, Michigan, I was at this shop and I found this sweatshirt that I was like, oh, my wife would love this.
Mm-hmm.
So I value flexibility. I have a little flexibility in my life financially, a little bit nimble. So I bought it. And I think it's just even little moments like that are rather insignificant. Then when the flexibility starts to go away, not that it's the end of the world if I don't buy a hoodie for my wife, such a romantic gesture, but like it starts to choke you and it starts to make you feel, what do we do here? Because all these familiar feelings of flexibility and chill, they start to go away.
Yeah. And I think in the home buying scenario that originally kicked off this discussion, I think it's sometimes when those expenses don't look the way you thought that they would, even if they're net neutral. So for example, maybe you moved into this house and you expected to have to paint and, replace a couple light fixtures and you want to rip the carpet out of a 90s home. But then when you ripped out the carpet, you found that you had some floorboards that needed to be replaced. And when you changed that light fixture, you realized an electrician needed to do some other work. I think it's those dollars that even if you have the emergency fund set aside, you weren't pre-planning for them up here. I think that's maybe where it trips people up.
2 points here. Number one, when you said that like a 90s home, I would have said a 70s home. And that's how I know we're different ages. Number two, those little trips to the hardware store early, almost daily.
Yeah.
$50 to $100 a pop.
Oh yeah. You can't get out of Lowe's for less than $100.
Yeah. And so I guess maybe what I want to know from you is, what do you think a person moves into a new place?
Mm-hmm.
How long does it actually take to get to normalcy? Because I know it's 30 days, ain't it? What do you think what it takes to get to normalcy?
I feel like I don't have a good answer for this, and it's because of my bias. We bought a house that had a lot of projects, so I don't feel like I'm at any state of normalcy, and we moved into this house almost a year ago.
So, okay, this is interesting. So you moved in knowing there were a ton of projects.
Yeah.
As you considered purchasing the home and how your finances shift upon the purchase, did you somehow then budget monthly for the projects as they were going to happen?
Yeah, I had in this specific amount of money set to the side for the big things that we wanted to do. And it's we can work down this list, and when the money's gone, it's gone.
That makes sense. Well, but you're also you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But see, that's the whole nother thing though, is watching that balance reduce, especially when some of those projects are quite large and you have to cut a check for new windows. It's so anxiety inducing, even though that was the plan.
Let's do this. When we get back from the break, let's force the new normal. Okay. Let's create a way in which people can, whether it's they bought a house, they just bought a car, or they just started daycare expenses, or they just retired, or just sent a kid off to college and they're cash flowing, whatever it is. Everything's different. Everything's new. And it starts to feel a lot different than you imagined it would. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you a few tips. Let's call it 5 tips on how to force the new normal. Kristen, as we came up with these, which we'll share here after the break, I sort of unknowingly have done a lot of these things anytime something new has changed, and it really helps. So that's next. Tips for forcing normalcy. All that is on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Gave 6 more seconds of Johnny Cougar than than I needed to.
I listened to a little bit of Mellencamp last week.
Look at this fella here. Brian Pinkins comes into the show. Late greetings.
Hi, Brian.
Gosh, it's been a while since I've just randomly run into him on the streets of Indianapolis.
Are you often just like walking the streets?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I told you during pre-show that Theodore's birthday is coming up, and so I'm taking him, his best friend, to Fogo de Chao for just unlimited meat.
So good.
And I'm doing it on the night of the Final Four in downtown Indianapolis, where the Final Four is being hosted. And I regret everything. I regret meeting my wife, that night of hugging. Everything. Like, I regret it all. Because I mean, parking and traffic,
people,
street closures, people.
Street closures. That's what gets me. If I've got a plan and then I have to turn and I wasn't expecting to, I don't like that.
I'm so like, part of me just wants to go to a butcher and buy like 7 cuts of meat and just give them a Brazilian steakhouse myself.
One, that's not unlimited. And 2, no one's going to be walking around with a giant skewer asking if you want it. So.
I would also go to Amazon and order giant swords.
That's not the worst idea you've ever had.
Let me ask you a question, and you can pass on this. Does your special man friend have a sword?
No.
Okay, just checking. I just wanted to know.
We've been over this. He has like a lot of toy tractors.
What? I mean, can we not call them toy tractors?
That's literally what they're called.
Aren't they called collectibles?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's continue the show.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Today we are talking about that uneasy feeling that all of us have had, is when you plan to make a big financial decision, you make the financial decision, and then you're left on the other side of the financial decision dealing with the financial decision. We got an email from Bobby, who says that he just moved into his house with his spouse. There were no mouse, and he hunts grouse. I didn't know where to go with it. And so now he's like, our financial life's changed, and I'm feeling really uneasy, even though we planned for this thing. And so, Kristen, you and I have come up with a list of things to force normalcy. So that's what we're going to do. Do you want to start our list of things to force normalcy?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So the very first thing is you have to expose yourself to the reality of the new spending, whatever that is. And I know that that's going to hurt and it's going to be scary, but you have to run a new normal month because you thought that the utilities were going to be this amount. You thought that, whatever other bill was going to be this amount. You have to start tracking to know what that new level of normal is, because your baseline might be off, which is just contributing to the worry, the fear, the anxiety.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, people budget obviously in various ways. They use tools, or they just look at their online checking account, or they use a spreadsheet or napkin or whatever. But I think if this were me, I would use a spreadsheet for the first 2 or 3 months, purposefully go and pull down the cost of this and this and this and this. And the tricky part is something you mentioned last segment, is that depending on what time of the month they purchase this home, they may not have a mortgage payment for what feels like 2 months. And then that's where things can get real hairy real fast.
Yeah, 100%. And I like what you said about using an Excel sheet, because in my experience, anecdotally, is when you kind of force yourself to look at those numbers, it really reduces the fear because it takes the unknown out of it. You might still have concern about how much you're spending, but there's no guess about it. And I find that for a lot of people, that provides a sense of calm and comfort. And the best way to do that is to actually be in the numbers. So pull up a Google sheet and actually start putting those expenses in there.
You know what virtually everyone ignores is that double pay month in which you're still paying for utilities from your old place, and then you've somehow got to activate and like turn on the other ones. Like, why does literally everyone ignore that completely non-trivial amount of money, which is generally $500?
Yeah, especially the time of year. Like we were really fortunate that that happened to us in a time when utility bills aren't super high in the Midwest. But like if we would have moved in like the heart of winter, like our gas bill was like, our gas and electric was like $500 2 months ago. That would have been awful.
Really? Well, not that it was awful, but $500?
Is that not a lot? I think that's a lot.
Ton, I think.
I literally in the middle of the night woke up, couldn't sleep, saw that I got a text with the new bill and text him and said, if I don't wake up in the morning, it's because I've had a panic attack with a screenshot of the bill.
Do you guys have windows?
No, nope. We just let the air run right through.
That would be it. It's a little bit of a fix. Okay. Well, I'll give you the second tip here.
Okay.
Second tip. I'm just doing the math in my head of like all the stuff we've already talked about. I feel like moving in a situation like this, the first month cash flow is easy $1,500 a month difference. Easy.
Oh, yeah.
And the funny thing is, if you think about, well, our mortgage is only $700 a month more, the first 30 days of $1,500 higher doesn't even include the mortgage increase because you haven't had to make a payment yet.
Exactly.
So then you're $2,200. The next, okay. Rebuilding margin intentionally. Okay, so this is counterintuitive. We're talking about a period of time in which you are bleeding money, right? You've got new expenses, and hopefully, if you've listened to this show or any other reasonable show, you are regularly putting money into an emergency fund. So my tip here is to just increase that amount a month a little bit, right? Just increase it, be intentional, because you are telling yourself that the flexible lifestyle that you just left is the way you're going to get it back is by playing fast and loose now, when in fact, what gets you back to that flexibility is structure that you have to create.
100%. And it ties really nicely into the next one. So I kind of want to say what that one is and then kind of reflect, which is to create new rules for spending, that your old habits might not match your new reality. And it's those rules that will help you rebuild your margin. It might be, hey, we did a subscription review and we realized that we really could do without Hulu Live in the summer, or whatever thing it is you want to change. And if you combine those two rules, you naturally will create that margin as you're running that test for what is your new normal.
So I'm hearing in that is sacrificial lambs, right? Of just saying, all right, well, we got to choose something that is some form of sacrifice that makes us feel like we're really going for this thing.
Yeah. And, I would take that one step further and say, I would argue that it has to be something that once you make that decision, it impacts the budget and it's done. And what I mean by that is it can't be, we're going to eat out less, because you have so many opportunities to eat out and continue to increase that expense. It has to be, we're going to stop paying for, again, a subscription that we have, something that when we cut it off, then there's no spend there anymore. Or we no longer go to XYZ retailer. Like it can't be that ambiguous.
How about my next tip here is looking in the mirror, looking at your partner and acknowledging the hard part out loud.
God.
You don't like that?
I mean, I do, but it's so hard. I'm thinking, especially through the lens of the emailer, is like, you have to you're looking at Mrs. Planner and you're like, hey, this is really tough. We're kind of strapped for cash here right now. I
think what's really tough about that is each person in that relationship deals with those words differently.
Exactly.
One person can get sent while the other person's finding comfort in the admission.
Yeah. Especially if there's we don't know, I don't think we know their dynamic of like, is this a dual income household? Is there discrepancy in income that's being earned? Because that totally changes that dynamic too. So I think you have to know how to broach this conversation with your person. But I think it's a good one of, hey, this is a really hard thing. And you know what? We're doing it.
Yeah, the old, we chose space over flexibility. Like we chose starting our family over flexibility.
Yeah.
It's hard. What about framing it through the lens of you didn't lose flexibility, you converted it to a different priority? Is that helpful, or is that just like too mechanical?
I think it would be helpful for someone who doesn't want to just hear hey, this is really hard. That might be a better approach for someone who felt more uneasy about the first couple statements we made there.
I guess the final one would be just to give it time.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to need this is tough. Three months minimum.
For sure.
To feel anything. And then 6 months, I have to be honest though, you got to start to get your hands around it by that 3 month mark or starting at the 3rd month mark, because if you don't come 6 months, you're off the rails.
Truly. If you're coming from a place of I'm not paying enough attention to it, I think you could still feel uneasy about it. But if you haven't taken steps to not feel uneasy, I would agree with you.
Great. Well, here's the thing. This happens to everyone, emailer, Bobby. This happens to everyone. At literally every big moment, from financial moments like buying a new house to life moments like having children. Like it is a normal thing. So it's okay. It'll be all right. But you got to have some intentionality around it. Speaking of intentionality, I am intentionally going to bring back the show with biggest waste of money of the week. And Kristen's doing the news this week. All of that is next right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner.
Yeah. I won't be as good at Dame, but I'll try.
What if you're better and we just don't have him back?
No one better say it out loud.
We could call him on the air and tell him. Hey, buddy.
Good time, but
we got to have him back to have his story, because if it's half as good as the text, it'd be an all-timer.
Well, and many days have passed, so surely there's been more there.
Clarity and embellishment and all the good things that make for stories. Do we need to acknowledge the Purdue win? Is that helpful for you?
Yes, it would be, actually. Thank you.
Good for them. I'm not a hater. I just I don't, everyone's got things they care or don't care about.
100%. Yeah. There are things that you care about that I don't sometimes even understand. So
I had my column for the IBJ last week. I think I've probably talked about it on here. I think we're in deep economic trouble.
Duh.
I think we're in big trouble. I'm smiling because I don't want to cry in front of.
Sound the alarm.
Do we have an alarm? Let me see if I got one here. We're screwed.
Yes.
There's been various inflection points that have freaked me out. I think the one I heard this week is the energy crisis in the Philippines is one that just had me thinking, yeah, we're in trouble. If the Middle East is this quagmire that we're experiencing, and there's obviously lots of bad there, but it is being felt directly in the Philippines because of the lack of energy flowing that way and oil flowing that way. Like, that is the true tip of the iceberg of what's going on. I don't know why that one represented such a big problem for me. But that's the one that kind of sent me this week.
He's going to be a prepper.
I'm not going to be a prepper, although I will say, if any burpees are involved with prepping, I'll be better than I was a few weeks ago. But the guy in my hot Pilates class is going to be in trouble.
You be nice. He was trying, and it was.
I know. I'm being very rude, and it's a joke. It's a send up It's a send up.
What are you going to do if in 3 weeks he shows up and he's like way better than you? He just like blows your doors off.
Quit.
Oh, quit.
Okay, let's do this. 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week right here on the Pete the Planner Show is the vintage Raekwon Wu-Tang t-shirt. 3 decades after Wu-Tang Clan rewrote the rules of hip-hop, the artifacts from that era have become some of the most coveted pieces in vintage fashion. This faded gray group tee features the full clan, rendered around the iconic W logo, each member labeled by alias in the bold, graphic style that defined 90s rap merch. Johnny Blaze, Maximilian, Raleigh Fingers, ODB, and more. It nods to Ice Cream, which is Raekwon's 1995 hit from Only Built for Cuban Links, a track that cracked the Billboard 100 and was later immortalized when Lauryn Hill sampled it on The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. This t-shirt measures 25 and a half inches pit to pit.
Time out.
Granted.
That is awkward. I don't want to hear the measurement of something pit to pit.
Sizing was totally different in whenever it was before I was born.
28 and a half inches top to bottom. It's the kind of piece that doesn't surface twice. This is a single piece. It's a t-shirt. Kristen, what is this Wu-Tang Clan t-shirt? What do you think it costs?
I love a good vintage tee. This t-shirt is $250.
Oh, that's an amazing guess. $3,500.
Oh, that's a little aggressive. I don't love a vintage tee that much.
I mean, that's a lot of money, even if cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the dollar bills, y'all. Kristen, what is in the news this week?
Crypto edges closer to 401k plans after the White House clears review. I thought you would love this one, Pete.
I think you're just trolling now because I'm very upset about a lot of those things, and I try to not talk about it a ton here, but go ahead.
Well, I picked a few news articles that fit that mold. So,
good.
The White House's Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs has finished reviewing a Labor Department proposal tied to alternative assets in retirement plans. The Department of Labor is now expected to release the proposed rule for a 60-day public comment period, which typically leads to revisions before a final rule is published. This is off the back of last August, President Trump signed an executive order directing federal agencies to expand access to alternative assets in defined contribution plans, specifically digital assets, private equity, and real estate. The U.S. retirement market holds $48.1 trillion in financial assets as of September of 2025.
Kristen, just to go on the record again, I think this is a horrible idea and thing. And yes, that makes me a fuddy-duddy, and it makes me pro-regulation. But man, this is a nightmare.
You want me to double down?
Yes.
Indiana passed a bill on the 25th of February requiring certain state retirement and savings plans to offer a self-directed brokerage option that must include one crypto investment by July 1st of 2026. This would allow Indiana residents to hold Bitcoin and other digital assets inside their retirement accounts for the very first time.
Why are you doing this to me? I don't need this in my heart.
I understand that, but I think that the conversation, one, this was passed in February in Indiana, and I actually hadn't heard about it. And I think it's important for people to understand that just because you have access to something does not mean that it is ideal for you from an investment perspective. And if you can't look at the chart of the historical prices of Bitcoin, particularly over the last 4 years, if you can't look at that chart with a iron stomach, this is not for you. This is not investment advice, but it's not for you.
I feel like Dame all of a sudden. I'm feeling
he leaves and you step into his role.
I know. this just reeks of lobbyists.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's all it, like, I'm like, anytime you see something that makes no sense for humanity, it's because the lobby had so much money to spend.
Okay, but to play the other side of the argument, I do get that. How does the everyman, so to speak, get access or gain access when investing for retirement is largely how the average American is investing, so they don't have access to these funds? I hear the argument for the other side. In practice, terrifying.
I mean, I'm just tying this together with the prediction markets. I assume one of your stories is a prediction market story.
Oh, I was just going to ask how you thought. It's not a full story. It's just a quick one.
Go ahead. You're just really salting the wounds today. Go ahead.
No. This was just, I saw in one of my newsletters this morning that they called out specifically that on a prediction market platform that people were not betting. What are we supposed to call it, Pete?
Buying contracts.
They were buying contracts on when the DHS shutdown will end. And it seems that 87% of people think that this will be before April 1st as of this morning. So I know that you're a big endorser of this. So go out and place your contracts, excuse me.
I don't know how I went. I oscillate between deregulation and regulation on a pretty regular day. Anyone who actually is staunch one way, I'll never understand. Because we talked last week on the show, the deregulation around reserves for lending institutions.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that deregulation right there will lead to a 2007, 2008 meltdown again, because that's how people pronounce it. Again, The A is long. Is A long or short when you say A? You know what I mean? The short A or a long A, it's A versus A.
I don't know phonics.
No one knows. What else is in the news?
This story leads negative, and I'm sorry for that, but I thought that some of the follow-up was interesting, so I've included it. A record number of workers are rating their 401k. Not great. Last year, a record 6% of workers in 401k plans administered by Vanguard took a hardship withdrawal. This is up from 4.8% in 2024 and the what they called pandemic average of about 2%. According to Vanguard and then reported by the Wall Street Journal, the uptick in hardship withdrawals marks the sixth straight year of increases since 2018, when Congress made it easier to take a hardship distribution by eliminating the requirement to take a 401k loan first. The top reasons cited for taking a hardship withdrawal last year were to avoid foreclosure and eviction and to pay medical expenses. The median withdrawal amount was $1,900. What I thought was interesting in a later part of this article was that the argument was made that people are actually still collectively doing better in the amount that they're saving for retirement, but the amount of 401k plans that auto-enroll is so much higher that they're still net positive, even though loans are up, which I thought was, or withdrawals rather. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it just shows that forced behavior, while it drives some good results, it doesn't actually change behavior, right? I had a conversation with a guy this week. This is fascinating. I've never heard this before, ever. Okay. He had an employee go to him and say, I want to quit because I can't access my 401k. And when I quit, I'm going to cash in my money to pay for my kids' college. And then I want you to hire me back. Would you do that?
What?
And right. I've never even, I don't know how I've never heard that, because that sounds like more I don't know. Does that blow your mind? That
person saw that on a TikTok.
Oh, that's so true.
Ways to fund your kids' education. That was social media's fault. Don't do that.
So the person said no.
Good.
And the person quit and cashed it in and then went and got another job.
Social media is awful.
Speaking of, since it is, all I'm going to do is offer good vibes. And I'm going to send them to you because it's all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner, and this has been the Pete the Planner Show. that crazy?
Is what crazy? That story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, can you hear my kid screaming?
No, but I'd like to.
She just woke up.
Oh.
Literally on the nose.
Go get her out of the drawer.
Not yet. She needs to learn how to self-soothe.
Oh, boy. It's modern parenting.
It is.
When I was a kid, my parents they bought an ant farm and I don't know. I couldn't think of anything. Okay. Well, we did this. Dame's back hopefully next week with a good story. And we'll do that then. So, Chris, thanks. Hope you have a good weekend and enjoy asking people and talking to them about kitten husbandry.
Oh, yes. I will report back.
And by the way, with the comments I made about the guy struggling at Hot Pilates, while arguably was true, I'm totally joking about judging him for it. Like I'm just being funny or trying to be funny. Or anyway, thanks, everyone. Stay getting money.
From breaking news to in-depth articles, discover the advantage of unlimited access to all news from IBJ and Inside Indiana Business with our limited time trial. Get started now at ibj.com/trial offer.
Want to give your team a real edge? The IBJ Group Plan delivers unlimited access to every story, every report, every video from IBJ and Inside Indiana Business for your whole team. Cover some or all of your employees with one simple payment. The more you add, the more you save. It's smart, it's flexible, and it saves you up to 30% off the standard rate. Already have IBJ subscribers in your office? Group up and save big. Learn more and get started now at ibj.com/group-plan.